I've always been intrigued by the great white continent, fascinated by penguins and seals, and very much troubled by whaling. I couldn't even watch the movie Moby Dick. Someone once asked, "Why would you want to go to Antarctica? There's really nothing out there." The more I thought about it, the more I realized that that was the point. It's untouched. Humans haven't really left their mark. Only a few whaling boats and blubber boilers remain from a very long time ago. Boarding the ship with full confidence and excitement, having no doubt that our floating home for the next few days will carry us safely through the one and only famous Drake Passage. The Magellanic penguins came to see us off in the Beagle Channel. We started hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. I was eager to experience the Drake Passage at its worst. I wanted to live what others had labelled as the Drake Shake. All we really experienced was a slight rocking motion that put us to sleep. The calm seas presented the Drake Lake. We had just started our journey and already had to keep our eyes peeled for albatross, petrels, and whale blows. The air temperature was 11 degrees Celsius and it started dropping rapidly. The long-awaited announcement came through. "Make your way to the observation deck. Welcome to Antarctica." I started piling on the layers to prepare for the 2 degrees Celsius awaiting us outside of the ship. At first, I couldn't really see much. It was quite grey and the air was filled with fog. A few icebergs started peeking through the mist, and slowly this pristine wilderness started welcoming our presence. The fog started to clear, a curtain unveiling the breathtaking Lemire Channel. Silence had never sounded so beautiful. It was as if we had fallen off the face of the earth, sailing into a different dimension, a different world. It only took 5 minutes of entering into Antarctica waters to totally overwhelm me. Wildlife started to appear and to let us know that we were not alone. Ice creaking on the side of the ship, gentle whale blows in the distance, gentle penguins showing some curiosity. We could not contain our excitement any longer. Woohoos, high-fiving, and the cameras started to click. Our first stop, Peterman Island. Hopping onto the Zodiacs dressed like an Oros man and setting off onto our first land excursion. Before stepping onto the ice, I felt like Neil Armstrong taking his first step onto the moon. I waited, savored the moment, and stepped onto the first island of the peninsula. I can still hear the ice crushing under my muck boot, feel the snow gently kissing my cheeks, and the distant call of gentle penguins in the background. The scenery, the wildlife, it's phenomenal. Stunning icebergs mirrored in glassy waters, surrounded by gentoo and Adelie penguins, sheathbills and Waddell seals. I have a soft spot for Adelies. They are quite comical and clumsy, but very cheeky and absolutely brave. They stand their ground. Gentoos are curious. We had to walk away from them to maintain the appropriate distance, but they kept following. They are very sneaky and excellent thieves. They steal pebbles from other penguins' nests to stock up on their own pile. They protect one another's chicks from skuas, who are quite vicious and cunning. Chin straps are beautiful, almost sophisticated, as can be for a penguin. The seals are adorable, and yes, I would include the leopard seal. They are fascinating. I wouldn't want to mess with them though. They have quite a reputation, and for good reason. Fortunately, we came across really lazy ones, napping on bits and pieces of ice floating around our Zodiacs. Curverville Island was a great place to sit back, relax, and enjoy close encounters with whales, and watch the gentoo penguins waddling through their penguin highways. Camping on the continent. What an achievement. This was one of the greatest things I had ever done. We cocooned ourselves into our sleeping bags and could see the ship's lights flickering in the distance. No one wanted to sleep, and so we did not. We sat amongst the seals, slid down the snow with a shovel like toddlers, and marveled at the night sky. Late one evening, I decided to join the Russian crew for a sauna plunge pool experience. I wouldn't really recommend this. Sitting in the sauna sipping on vodka was great, but then they expect us to jump in the plunge pool, which I'm quite surprised hadn't frozen over into a little ice rink. Being brave, I decided to jump into the plunge pool. I tried to grab onto the steel railings, but my hands got stuck, and by the time I had pulled my body out of the water, my hair had iced. I crawled back into the sauna to thaw out. We made our way to Deception Island. We could actually swim here, but I chose not to do this because of the previous night's plunge pool nightmare. I suspect the water was quite warm as I could see the steam rising off the ocean. The sand is dark, and with the snow-capped mountains in the background, nature had naturally set itself into a black and white setting. It was absolutely stunning, almost mystical. The most satisfying feeling was standing on the dark, surprisingly very warm sand, watching the whales play as if almost to celebrate their freedom and victory over whaling, and behind me, the rotting whaling boats and eroding blubber boilers. Paradise Bay was one of my favorite places. On Zodiacs we floated around to soak in the amazing scenery. I could see my reflection in the water. The glacier in front of us growled and crashed to the ground, to the waters below, and we enjoyed the waves it made. I collected some ice for our barman to stock up for happy hour and for our Russian beer cocktails, but I ate most of the ice on the way back to the ship. I mean, who gets to eat glacier ice from Antarctica? We headed off to Half Moon Island in Wilhelmina Bay. It was a stunning day. The sun was shining, and there was no shortage of chinstrap penguins, humpback whales, and crab-eater seals. We had to start making our way back. Cape Horn was something else. I stood on the bridge and the wind was so intense that it knocked me right off my feet and took my breath away. That was the only rough waters we had experienced. An incredible sadness came over me when I realized what I was leaving behind. This mystical world that actually exists. Its pure beauty, wildlife, history brought me to tears. Coming to the realization that humans are so insignificant. It's a place I will never forget. Nothing can compare to it. I will always yearn to go back to fill the void I never knew existed, which only Antarctica knew how to fill. My favorite photos, canvassed, have been pinned up on the wall for the past decade. I still get the feeling of contentment every time I look at them. To get back to that first question, why would you want to go to Antarctica? Because quite simply, it has absolutely everything.
Bye, Jen.
With a head full of teeth, they there's almost a fourth dimension here. Sunshine. Does anybody want to read? Kitchen jumper.
Get ready. Tail. Second one. Get ready. Ready. Go.
Bellissimo.
Oh, nice. Oh, God.
That was good.